Genie Plus is a controversial Disney Parks change, but you might be missing out if you've already decided not to try it. Hey everybody, it's Chris for AllEars TV and AllEars.net. Today we're talking about whether you should say yes or no to Genie Plus. And our readers have already spoken with a meager rating of 2.64 out of 10. And only 17% of reviewers recommend Genie Plus. But does that mean Genie Plus is all bad? Some people can still benefit from this paid service, so let's see if we can change your mind, especially with our team's expert tips. The ultimate way to make the most out of Genie Plus means taking these factors into consideration. Consider how you feel about long lines. Plan to research Genie Plus before your visit. Fiddle-faddle as often as possible. Now, we're going to go over everything here, so let's move on to the basics, and then you can decide whether Genie Plus might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned at the end for our team's top tips on using Genie Plus in the parks. The Disney Genie is made up of two components, including the free Disney Genie, we call that Freeney, in the My Disney Experience and Disneyland apps, which helps you plan your itinerary throughout your day. Genie Plus, which is what we'll be talking about today, is the paid service used to bypass standby lines. It's very similar to the FastPass system, but of course it costs money now. Now, to make things even more complicated, there are also separate individual lightning lanes and individual attraction selection lines for some of the most popular attractions in the Disney parks. And you can pay another fee to skip those lines.
Genie Plus is definitely like hit or miss. The experience you're gonna have depends on your group, depends on how much research you do in advance, because she's confusing. She's so confusing. It depends on how dedicated you are to using the service and refreshing and trying to get the right spot and stuff like that. It depends on how many Molly videos you've watched. If you're me, it depends on how many questions you have to ask Molly in advance. Okay, Molly, Genie Plus, help, because she knows what she's doing. It really depends the experience you're gonna have. It depends on whether or not you need it, depending on your priorities. If I'm going to Disney World, things are not going well for me at this particular juncture. If you're traveling here, and you have a list of 10 must-dos per park, Genie Plus might be a good idea.
Genie Plus costs $15 per person per day in Disney World and $20 per person per day in Disneyland. And you have the option to buy Genie Plus on the day of your visit or in advance, but if you buy it in advance, you have to purchase it for every day of your visit.
Anonymous said, Genie Plus gets you reduced weights and you can pack in more per day, particularly if you don't intend to return to the parks to utilize the early entry hours. However, I'm going to say recommended because it's bad, but standby is worse.
So what kind of lines can you skip? Genie Plus is available for over 40 Disney World attractions and over 15 Disneyland attractions. But remember that individual lightning lanes are an additional cost for the most high-demand rides, which range in price depending on the day and the ride.
I have been using Genie Plus since literally the moment it launched. And I was a huge fan of it when it first was unveiled, and now I'm a really big fan of it, though I will admit that it's gotten a lot more competitive since there are more people in the parks and more people are using Genie Plus. Now, my question to you is, are you really going to spend all the money it costs to have a Walt Disney World vacation, the flights to Orlando, the hotels, the food, the park tickets, and not pay the extra $15 per person per day to skip the lines? Are you really gonna spend all that money to spend most of your time in line? I recommend that you don't do that. I recommend that you pay for the Genie Plus and watch Molly's videos on how to use it, because it is still a very valuable resource if you know what to do.
If your Disney tickets are linked in the My Disney Experience or Disneyland apps, you can purchase Genie Plus and individual lightning lanes in the app. You can make your first Genie Plus selection at 7 a.m. on the date of your Disney World visit, but in Disneyland, you must enter the park before you can make a Genie Plus selection. And some people might say that's better.
I have used Genie Plus 30, 40 times at this point in both Disneyland and Disney World, and it does work a lot better in Disneyland. Disneyland overall is way less busy than Walt Disney World most of the time, and it's way less complicated. So honestly, this is kind of a hot take, but I feel like if you want, the trip you imagine at Magic Kingdom is probably more likely to have at Disneyland. The idea of just like showing up and doing whatever you'd like and having a whimsical, magical day, that's more of a Disneyland thing at this point. Walt Disney World takes an incredible amount of planning with or without Genie, and I am someone who hates standing in line, so I would rather plan with Genie Plus and figure out how to use Genie Plus despite it being annoyingly complicated, so I don't have to stand in lines, because I'm already doing a bunch of planning anyway.
Individual attraction selection is different, and if you're staying at a Disney World hotel, you can make your first selection at 7 a.m., but otherwise, you must wait until park opening to start scheduling. In Disneyland, you can't make your reservation until you enter a park. Note that you can use both paid services in multiple parks if you're able to park hop.
So I like Genie Plus. Like I tend to use it when I'm there for fun. I tend to encourage my friends and family to use it when they come. However, I only tend to encourage my friends and family to use it if I have time to teach it to them. Because if not, they're going to waste that $15 in most cases. So unless you've sat down and really put in some effort to learning Genie Plus before you go, or you have someone in your party who does know how to use it, or you've watched all of Molly's videos and learned how to use it, then don't buy it. Because it's not gonna, getting the payoff from it is difficult because it is so confusing, which is a massive flaw in the system. I get confused by it, and this is literally my job, and I literally live here, and I go to Disney World literally every week, and I get confused by it. Not a good thing. That's my biggest complaint, and maybe my only complaint with Genie Plus is just how confusing it is. That system needs to be simplified. It's not user-friendly.
Confused and exhausted yet? Well, let's stop a second to breathe. And while you're taking a breath, give us a like, click on that thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. And if you really want to be part of the fun, be sure to follow us on social media at AllEars.net, where you can participate in Disney World throwdowns and other activities. And then make sure you get to AllEars.net to leave your reviews for everything Disney parks related. There's hotels, restaurants, rides, there's all kinds of reviews that you can leave. And by doing that, you're helping your fellow followers have the best vacation ever. Okay, rest time's over. Marching on. Genie Plus reservations are made one at a time, and you can't select your return time because you get the next available window. Think of it like paper fast passes, but, it's electronic now. You can't make a second reservation until either you've scanned into your first Genie Plus attraction or 120 minutes after you made your last reservation. And not to get more complicated, if you made your Genie Plus reservation at 7 a.m., the 120-minute countdown doesn't begin until park opening. Oh, Disney, why all the rules? You can make 2 individual Lightning Lane reservations per day, and you can sometimes choose the time window you prefer.
Anonymous said, Genie Plus is necessary to ride popular rides like Slinky Dog Dash without super long waits. When you get a return time, it does work well, and the wait is short. Most useful in Magic Kingdom.
Note that Genie Plus reservations don't sell out, and if you keep checking throughout the day, times can be replenished. So that's when fiddle-faddling is key, which is the act of constantly refreshing your screen. Individual Lightning Lanes can sell out, so you don't want to wait too long to get those.
Genie Plus is incredibly complicated, and that's my biggest beef with it. It takes a lot of time to understand when I can book this ride versus that ride, and what ride should I book first. But for me, Disney said that you can expect to get 2 to 3 Lightning Lanes per day. I find that to be incredibly low. I've been able to pull over 20 Lightning Lanes in Magic Kingdom, which is all of them. I've been able to get every Lightning Lane in Hollywood Studios doing Genie challenges, which, shameless plug, go watch them if you want some great Genie Plus tips. But again, I would rather stand somewhere for a few minutes refreshing my phone, hoping to get a Genie Plus return time, than wait 90 minutes in line. And when you go to a park like Hollywood Studios right now, you're looking at 90 plus minutes in line at a lot of rides.
Genie Plus pros. You can skip the standby line and avoid long line time sucks. You get more time to spend doing other things in Disney parks. And the system works as long as you research, prepare, and commit to using Genie Plus. The cons? The cost can add up quickly if you want to use Genie Plus daily or if you have a big group. Plus, it's a little confusing and not super accessible unless you do quite a bit of research. And 7 a.m. is not the most ideal time to set your alarm every day of your vacation. Now, before you make up your mind about Genie Plus, our team is here to share their top tips for getting the most out of Genie Plus.
Don't give up. It's gonna look like all the reservations are full, and they are, but if you keep fiddle-faddling, like Molly tells us to do.
Fiddle-faddle, that's all I can say. Fiddle-faddle, fiddle-faddle.
I was in Hollywood Studios one day using Genie Plus and everything was full. I texted her and I said, it's not gonna happen today, I don't think. And she said, keep going, and I did, and at 1 p.m. I got a 4 p.m. Slinky Dog Dash reservation. So it works, don't give up.
Genie Plus can be a great tool on park hopping days, and don't be afraid to use that 7 a.m. booking time to book for your second park if it's the busier stop.
My major tip for Genie Plus is to just take into account what park that you are going to be going into and also what day it is. Because ultimately there are going to be some days where you don't necessarily need to buy Genie Plus for something like Animal Kingdom because you're going to be able to get onto those rides in a pretty reasonable wait time.
Put the downtime that you earned by using Genie Plus to good use. Go eat some good food, see some shows. Whatever you do, don't sit out in direct sunlight waiting for your next Lightning Lane reservation.
If you do happen to kick in the 120-minute cooldown, make sure that you set an alarm on your phone so that you can book a new Lightning Lane the minute that your cooldown ends.
I want to be clear, I don't love the system, but I love skipping lines. I know that it's not great that it costs money, but if you don't want to spend your day waiting in line, this is what you have to do. And unfortunately, this is what it is, but hopefully we can help you.
It's no surprise, most of our readers have made it known through the reviews, remember that 2.64 rating, that Genie Plus isn't without its faults, but it is possible to make it work for you. So while our readers vote no, the AllEars team votes yes. So how would you vote after watching this video? Have we changed your mind at all? Please let us know in the comments. This is Chris for AllEars.net. See you next time.